My mother didn't go to school. My mother was one of the gentlest human beings I have ever met up till today. My mother was not educated, but she carried herself with such daintiness. You respected her. My mother picked her battles. I tell you something. When I was younger, my dad was still trying to make it in life and become comfortable. We lived in a face me, I face you kind of house. You know what I mean. And we had many neighbors who also had many children, like my father and my mother had many children. Sometimes while we are playing, tempers will rise and we may fight with the other children. Or, well, generally we beat the other children. I think we were more rugged. So we beat them, then we will run home. We'll run into the house, and my mom usually, she's sitting on her chair by our door. We'll run in, and she'll just still be sitting there. And the mothers of those children will chase us down, enter our house. They won't even talk to my mother sitting there. Enter our house, go in there, and beat us up inside the house. And come out of the house and go, and my mom won't say anything. Not because she was a coward. She will wait for my dad to come home. And she'll say to him, I don't want to disrespect you by fighting. So go and tell that woman who came here to, or tell her husband that his wife came into my house to beat my children. It should not happen again. That's the kind of person my mother was. But she was also married to a man who didn't care.
You're watching Eagle Wings TV. Kindly subscribe to our channel so you can be notified when we post inspiring content like this. Now back to your video.
At the beginning he cared because he had nothing, and she was the one standing with him. She was the one going to farm with him to pay his school fees. She was the one that stayed when he was going to school, and the white people that came to my village carried him and sent him to school, sent him to England, She was the one there. And one day, many years down the line, he decided he needed another wife. So he takes off. He decided he needed another wife. Not that day. He had been cheating and cheating and cheating. Papa, share you are in heaven hearing me, no vex, but I have to tell them. He was cheating and cheating all over the place. Then one day he decided to marry one of the women and bring them home. And things shifted in our house. Before he married her, he brought her to the house. And my mom, for the first time, I saw a lioness. She stood up. This woman will not enter my house. You cannot bring this woman. My mother was very small. I'm taller than her. My dad was very tall. He stood in front of him. And the woman he brought in was almost as tall as my dad. She was big and beautiful. And my dad, for the first time in my life and in my mother's life, lifted up his hand and slapped my mother. She was pregnant with my youngest brother. He hit her and her nose began to bleed. I was 10 years old. I will never forget that. I remember what my mother was wearing. I remember where she was standing in our house. I remember the look on my father's face when he realized he had slapped this woman. But his pride won't let him back down. And he told my mother, for daring to defy me. Then that child my mother was giving birth to was number 10. My mom had 11 children. Some didn't survive. The first 2 I didn't meet. So he told her to go get her bags and leave. Pack your things and get out of my house. And my mom turned with the blood on her nose and went to pack her things. She took the little girl she had brought from the village that was living with us. She said, let me take her back to her parents. And she took my little, forgive me, she wasn't pregnant with my little brother. She was pregnant with the last child, Abigail. So she took Timothy, who was about 2 years old then, and she was pregnant with Abigail, and she had the little girl. She packed her bags and she went outside. She was trying to get a vehicle. Now when he hit her and told her to pack her things and leave, he left with the woman. The rest of us, life ended. We stood there, and the trauma and the terror and the fear. We didn't know what was happening. Our parents had never fought before, never been violent. And suddenly this thing was jammed down our throats in a moment. Now my mother has been asked to go. She's packing her bags. What's happening to the rest of us? And my mom went downstairs and was looking for a vehicle. We were standing on the balcony upstairs crying, looking at my mom. And my dad came back. When he came back and saw her with her things in front of the house, he drove past. We didn't know where he went. My mother got a taxi, got to the motor park. My dad was a vehicle inspection officer, VIO. It's not the type you have today. Then VIOs were like gods. And he went to the park and told every driver in that park, there's a woman coming pregnant with a little boy and a little girl. Any driver that takes her will lose his license. So he told her to go, and he took from her the power to go. My mother stood in that park and nobody would take her. She left and went to outside so she could find the ones that were just driving past. Anyone she was able to stop, somebody would run from the park. If you carry this woman, your license is gone. And they would drive past. My mother got frustrated and sat on her box. Then my dad drove back to the park and told her, enter the car. He carried the box, put it in the car, carried and brought her back home. There was no apology. There was no remorse. There was no shame. There was more victimization. Because now he was behaving like he did her a favor by bringing her back. There's a place for staying when marriage becomes a death trap. There's a place for staying. Those places are few, and they are usually from a direct command from God. The example I have is Prophet Hosea. God said to him, go and marry a prostitute. When I saw Pastor Tolu's interview and I saw comments, I was just laughing. How convenient it is to sit with your tiny little phone and be typing nonsense that you haven't walked through. I wonder what social media would have said about Hosea then. No? Hey, he cannot be a prophet of God. This one, he cannot be God speaking. Marry prostitute. Gonorrhea, HIV. He's a false prophet. He brought a prostitute to his house. She left him and went back to the men. God said, go and bring her back. He went and brought her back. She left again. God said, go and pay money and buy her back. Prophet of God marrying a prostitute that is not repentant. There's a place for staying. It's usually warfare. God will ask such a person to stay because there is war to be fought or there is a message to be passed across. But there are not plenty. All the other ones that are doing, like Mama Oshika said, Father Lord, if I sent myself, have mercy on me. Many of the people who are staying sent themselves. God did not ask you to stay. Anything that will strip you of personhood is not godly. And abusive marriages do that. They strip you of your sense of personhood, strip you of value. And what is the most heartbreaking is that we sit down and we accept it. It is my cross. Who told you that is what the cross means? I looked at my mom that day and I made a silent vow. See, let me tell you, some of our brokenness comes from watching those broken relationships. We become broken like that too. I made up my mind. I said, no man will treat me this way. I will never take this rubbish from any man. Now, the tragedy of staying when you shouldn't, or there is a way to stay and it is not healthy. It is staying without hope, staying without leverage, and staying without strategy. If you don't want to go, you want to stay, you cannot be hopeless staying there. If people come to the rehab, we tell them what we want to give you from day one is hope. Because if you take hope from a person, he's done. If you are staying in that space, don't be hopeless there. 2, my mother had no leverage. She had no education, no money, no family. Her parents were both dead. And he knew her siblings were struggling. She was the one that used to take small from my father's house, who was very rich, and give to her siblings. So there was nowhere to go. She had to sit there. Please, those of you listening, don't leave your daughters without a place to go. My daughter was getting married. Somebody came and said, want to marry. I said, oh God, I don't know you. She brought you. She said she loves you. I love you too. Oh. I said, but please, did she tell you where she did her first degree? He said US. Did she tell you where she did her master's? UK. I said, can you quantify that in naira and kobo? He said, ma, that's a lot of money. I said, yes, money I could have used to buy Louis Vuitton and Louboutin and that. I said, I used it to raise a lady. So lady like that, she has attracted you now. I said, hear me well. I didn't raise a punching bag. Don't lay one finger on my daughter. The day you do that, I'll take her from you. You don't have a wife anymore. Man does say, why are you saying that? I say, okay, say your own. This is my own. I am putting this boundary in place so this man knows what is okay and what is not okay. Do not hit my daughter. On that account, she will always have a room in my house. He said, my father never did it, so I have no example to copy. I said, God bless you, son. May we have men like that their sons can boldly say, my father didn't do it, so I don't have an example to copy. Then he said, well, ma, please, I want to say something. I said, okay. He's a lawyer. Ma, I don't know what I would do if she slapped me first. So I said to him, I didn't raise her like that. I said, just as it is not okay for you to hit her, it's doubly not okay for her to hit you. So don't stay there without leverage. What are you leveraging on? When a person breaks the covenant down to rubbish, you are not bound to uphold that because it's no longer a covenant. At this point, your leverage should be contract. It was a covenant from the beginning until they broke it. It becomes a contract. And I'm not afraid to say that. The church needs to start speaking and stop making the victim responsible for fixing what they didn't break. Stop making the victim responsible for repairing what they didn't break. How can a woman run to you for shelter? She's been beaten. Oh, the house that I began. You don't know what made me start that safe house. God told me 8 years before, start a safe house. I said, Father Lord, the rehab center has not stabilized first. Let me be stabilizing that one. One day I woke up and there was a woman in my house. She was standing and swaying. And it was somebody that brought her. She was saying, Mommy, please help. I said, well, she said this morning the husband was beating her. He held her neck and was banging the back of her head against the wall. As she was speaking, the woman fell down and slumped. In my house. I thought she had died. I started shouting, Jesus, help me. I put her on the bed. I know the husband, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. See, some women are married to narcissistic men who are perfect gentlemen outside, but they are monsters inside the house, and you don't know. So when they are talking, you say, that nice man. No, now. Please don't do that. I ran to the office to help my head understand what I just saw. I met a woman waiting for me. She said, I'm not going back home. She followed me back home. The next morning we woke up, there was one knocking on my door at 6 a.m. frantically, 25 years married, running for her life with a small bag on her shoulder. What is it? Ma, please, I can't go back home, you will kill me. By the end of that day, another one came. The husband had used knife to beat her. What is that? That's not a covenant anymore. When God was giving the covenant, he was assuming that people will be children of God. Most of them are children of the devil now, carrying the name of God as a cover. In the last few weeks, Auntie Billy, if you know how many women have sent me messages about their husbands and what they are doing to them, and they are all pastors. The abuse from the pulpit to the pew. Please don't stay without strategy, don't stay without leverage, and don't stay without hope. If you must stay. Abigail was married to a man called Nabal. Horrible human being. Wicked man. Insensitive. Without spiritual discernment. She was sitting with darkness. But I love Abigail. When she heard that David was trying to do something, she said, my opportunity to meet a king. Let me tell you something. Don't shut your mind down to loving again if you have to leave. I'm jumping my gun. She was sitting there, but she had hope. One day, God will deliver me from this madness. And when she saw the opportunity, because she was spiritually sensitive and prepared, she took it up. It's not David that chased Abigail. Abigail chased David. Abigail arranged herself like Queen Esther to be seen. She finished pampering his ego very well. Then she said, please, when the Lord puts you on the throne, remember this beautiful woman you saw. This. Don't be like Pastor Jane that was walking around thinking only of 32 and a big forehead. Know that you are beautiful. And say, remember this woman. Even if I'm not beautiful on the face, remember my prophecy saved you from losing your throne. Be good for something. That's your leverage. Be good with something. How about if you choose to walk away? The amount of courage you will need. It's such a big deal in our society. I don't have time to expand on some things. To leave. How does a man commit adultery and you shame the wife? What is that? And you too, you accept the shame. Oh, I'm so ashamed. Of what? When adultery rocked my marriage, shame broke me. I was afraid to come out of my house because I was ashamed. Everywhere I was going, I would hear people whispering. I wasn't hearing audible whispers. I was picking them up in the street. The whispers of the people bent me, put my head down. I was afraid to go minister anywhere. When I would be invited, I said, sorry, I'm already committed. I was lying. I'm not committed, but I couldn't go. And one day God said to me, if you hide, you won't heal. That's why we have to tell our stories. Today, this morning at the hotel, when we were about to leave, we saw a group of men. I don't know them. One of them just looked at me. Wow, are you Rev Christie Bature? I said yes. He said, man, these are my friends. We're not married, but we're listening to your videos because we want to marry right. Boom! I know my life is having meaning now. That young men are saying to me, we want to marry right, and we're listening to your videos. We must tell our stories. Stop hiding. And then God said to me, it's not your shame. You are not the one that committed adultery. It is not your shame. Stop carrying somebody's shame and making it your own. If you are living, it's not your shame. That is if you are not the one that is looking for trouble. Because some of us are the problem. But because men are the bigger problem, we hide under that and we commit atrocities. Like the woman who came to me, he beat me. Because they know that once they say he beat me, I'm going to go and fight. So I sent for the husband. Look at how distinguished she look. How can you beat your wife? He said, ma, is that all she told you? I said, yes. He said, am I allowed to speak? I said, yes. He said, ma, we've been married 10 years. a few days before I beat her, we got a call from our children's school. One of our sons was given an assignment to write a short essay on his family, and he wrote a very short essay, one sentence. In my family, my mother beats my father. She has been beating the man for 10 years. Not because he's weak. Listen to this. The man made a vow before he married. I will never lift my hand on my wife. And he made the mistake of telling his wife that this is his vow. So she was taking advantage of that vow to slap him, bite him, kick him, throw things at him, push him. And the children were watching. So the man said to the wife, all the good things happening in our family, our children can't see it because of this one thing. This is not the good image or a good image of family. He said, don't hit me again. If anything happens between the two of us, speak like I do to you. Do not hit me again. The day you hit me again, I will beat you. I don't know that she thought he was joking or old habits die hard. The next time something happened, she slapped him. He gently steered her to the bedroom because he didn't want his children to see. Then he beat her in places that she cannot show anybody unless she will naked herself. I said to him, sir, you are a very smart man. I like you. I told him to go out, and he went out. And I said to her, is it true? You've been hitting him for 10 years and you can't take it once? You can't take a dose of your own medicine that you have doled out continuously for 10 years? How dare you come to me and accuse him of what you are more guilty of? I called the man back. I said, okay, even when she's not guilty, please let me beat her. They knew I was joking. They were laughing. But sometimes we are the problem, and we have to be brutally self-honest and say to ourselves, I am the problem. But that's not who I'm talking to today. I'm talking about the good women, the honest women, the faithful women, the laboring women, the loving women who stay with monsters like Beauty and the Beast. Those are the ones I'm talking to. If you have to leave, leave. Because now only person where they are alive, 9 they marry. Oh, I got a message from a lady. What she describes for me is death. And she's asking me, please pray, man. I said, pray for what? What am I praying for? That you should remain there and these things will continue. This is not a man that is willing to do anything about the problem and you want to still stay. What is this thing about marriage? How come it is more valuable to us than Christ? How have we elevated marriage to an idol? We have become idolaters. That somebody will be... God will never elevate marriage above the value of a life. Never. A life that Jesus paid for, you want to let it go for something temporary? There's no marriage in heaven. Everything about marriage ends here. Why will I then give up eternity for something temporary? Because some women are in such bitterness that they will not enter heaven. Because of another person that Jesus died for. No now. No now. The church will keep shouting, God hates divorce. He does not hate divorcees. You did not hear me. God hates divorce. He doesn't hate divorcees. I did not see anywhere in the Bible where the Bible says divorce is a sin. God hates it because of the ravages of it. How it tears a human being, or it tears human beings that were already bonded like with super glue. The pain of breaking away, the scars on the person, on the family, on the children, on the institution. That's why God hates it. But listen to this. God was speaking in the Old Testament. He said to the men who like to put their wives away, even if she's a concubine and you want to send her away, you cannot send her away empty. God was concerned about a concubine man, not even concubine, slave wife. You can't send a slave wife away with nothing. And you that you were married in church, in court, in the tradition, in I don't care what, they push you out with nothing because you sat down with nothing. So, Auntie Aochika, you people need to write workshop and courses on how to help women value themselves. Place a value. Because of where you are operating from, you are believable. Because you are a woman like them. Like you said, the people on the wall were human beings. But a woman who has entered places that are considered sacred for men will speak and women will listen. Ma, you need to place a value on yourself. When you go to normal markets, you want to buy tomato and you say, how much is this tomato? And the woman says 2,000. You say, ma, won't you sell it for 1,000 naira? She say, why are you pricing me small? You pull haggle back and forth. If you go to ShopRite, they have put the tomato inside package and they put 6,000 on it. Do you stand there and start saying, can't you people reduce it? Do you do that? If you don't have 6,000, what do? Keep moving. Place a price on yourself. Only those who can afford it will come close.
Thank you for watching till the end. Kindly subscribe to our channel for more faith-building content like this. You can also check our YouTube page for more and more videos. We know this has really been a blessing to you. Until we see you next time, God bless you. Bye-bye. Keep loving Jesus.